Good morning and afternoon. I did everything right except I forgot to plug my microphone into my interface. Good morning and afternoon to everybody. Good evening for those that are across oceans. And good to see or hear and talk to everyone here. We're going to have a good stream today. I'm a little bit more motivated because I don't know what happened. I've just always been doing this as like a free thing. Like I just wanted to do some streaming for fun. Then I got like money. Like it's not anything substantial at all, but like it was enough where I'm like, oh crap! I forgot that you can make money from this, which is kind of crazy. What's up, Diamond District Studios? You should join us on Twitch. Yeah, this is fun. I'm really excited to be here. And now that I realize that there's like money being involved, I'm gonna be a lot more consistent. Probably stream a lot more for the sake of like y'all get your money's worth. You know what? So yeah, right now in South Africa it is 8:03 p.m. Crazy. Alrighty. So, what are we gonna do today? We're gonna do some mixed feedback. And go over some rules. Let's go over some rules. 1 second. That looks slightly cooler, a little bit more purple. Alright, let's go over some rules. Okay. Also, Jake, when you get here, I mean, I'm not like the most free guy ever, but when you get here, make sure you message me, text me, whatever, Discord me, and make sure we hang out. How long are you staying in, are you going to be in LA? Yeah. To be in LA in 2 weeks. Yeah, so how long are you going to be in LA? Tell me more about this. We need to link up. Rules for feedback. Number 1, music submitted must be unreleased. This is incredibly important for a couple reasons. 1, for copyright reasons, as well as 2, this is a feedback day. So like on this stream, I'm giving you feedback, and I'm not going to give you feedback on a song that's already released. That's stupid, and it's a waste of both my time and your time. So, not going to do that. So make sure that it is unreleased. That is super important. Number 2, stereo files only. So make sure you send me files. Stereo files only. No stems, no different, no individual tracks. 3, music must be submitted on Discord. You can type in, whoa, hey. You can type in !Discord, get the link to join our Discord, and there's a whole chat called Chat for Live Stream. Do not post your links into mixed feedback. Post your links in the chat live stream if you wouldn't mind. Chat for Live Stream or whatever it's called. Alright, number 4. Person submitting music must be online during stream or song will be skipped. I'm not gonna give you feedback if you're not watching. I think that's the first thing. Number 2, if you're watching and you get some feedback on the stream, feel free to stick around, show some respect for everybody else that stuck around to watch yours. One of my pet peeves is like with open mics or with any sort of thing like that where anybody can come in and anybody can play. It shows a lot of character and who you really are when you show up to an open mic night late, play your song, and leave before you listen to anybody else's. I don't know anything more selfish than that. And I'm just going to say, come hang out and chill with us and listen to some other people's music as well, because we got a lot of really talented folks. And I think if everybody's willing to learn, there's also lots of things to learn from everybody. So this is going to be fun. This is always a really good time. We have a really tight community. And we're a fast-growing channel, so we're a growing channel here. So, number 5, if you are subscribed, right? If you are either subscribed, you can subscribe free. If you're an Amazon Prime user, you can subscribe for free, which I would really appreciate. But otherwise, if you are subscribed and I approve of your mix, or I decide to off of my own, what I want to do, then I might master your song on the spot, or at least bounce the song so you can have a reference for when you go back and kind of touch up some of the mix details that I talked about on the stream. So go ahead and if you're subscribed, we'll do that for you. Yeah, that's it. Mo the Merrier. My bad, Mo's here on a different Twitch because I'm at work still, but I'm here. What up, Mo? How you doing? What up, Mighty Maid? What up, bro? Finally able to stop in for a minute. Hey, that's good. What's up? Thanks for dropping in, everybody. So on that note, if you want to learn more about music production, I'm gonna plug a few more a little bit more, but type an exclamation point podcast. You get access to our podcast. You can watch the podcast. And on YouTube, you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I have 2.5 years of weekly content all about mixing and all about music production, and not just how to mix music, but also how to run a business. I'm an entrepreneur first. So, yeah. Let's check that out if you like some free resources. What up, Floaty? Thanks for stopping in. So we're, I don't know what else to say. I think that's kind of it. We're really, really excited for everybody to be here. I have a bunch of other stuff too. I don't remember exactly what. I don't have a store. There you go. Okay, so and then that's like my links to everything. So I mean, like I also write children's books. I just released my second children's book for children. There you go. And my wife is an illustrator, so we kind of do that, and all the words too. So if you have kids, the words inside the book are lyrics to a song, and there's a QR code on the front page of the book, and you can actually listen to the song while reading the book. And first one's a lullaby. The second one's about how my son looks like a samurai. So it's kind of funny. It's a good one. You can also download the children's book for free. Digital copies are always free. So if you have kids, and we always believe that supporting your family should come at no cost. So you can always download the digital copy for free. So feel free to take advantage of that. There's a lot of other things. Like I have free PDFs if you want to learn about marketing as an artist or a musician. I have free PDFs and all that jazz to kind of go over the basics. There's a lot of stuff. So a lot of free stuff. Check that out at links.dkmaces.com or just type in exclamation point links. All right. What's up, Jay Miller? All right. Thank you so much for the shout out. Podcast is a 10 out of 10. Listened for almost a year before I knew you did this. I assume this is the stream. Yeah, I do this. I need to do a better job plugging myself on the podcast. I'm very bad. I'm not really focused on conversions because like podcasts and even with this stream stuff, like this is honestly just I like doing this. This is not some sort of game to get money. Like I appreciate it. Oh, what up? Thank you so much. Okay, Baby Music for subscribing with Prime. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Did you do an Insta story? Did I do an Insta story? About what? About the the Insta story. What up, Diamond District Studios? Thanks for joining the Twitch. Or the stream. Oh, I did not. I should do an Insta story. Gosh dang. And by the way, I think this is a big deal. Like, I really, really appreciate it when y'all like every time like I'm like giving feedback. I get this a lot. Like, I'm giving feedback on your song. Someone takes a photo of like their computer screen and then tags me in it and it's like, thanks for the stream. Like that stuff like is a free way to help support me and my channel grow, and I really appreciate it. I want to make this scalable. Let me post something on my story. Usually I just go live and I'm like, yo, I'm on Twitch right now. Let me do that. Yeah, also, this is not just for mixed feedback. If you have any questions, whether it's about life advice, I'm not trying to be your therapist, but if you got any questions, let me know. Yeah, alright, now I'm like live on Instagram. This is what I usually do. Sweet. Yeah. Cool, let's get right into it. Also, I just want to share this. I thought this was dope. This is not a big deal at all, but I thought it was cool. I saw a lot of I'm a really big enthusiast with keyboards, for example. I love my keyboards. I'm not really I wish I was more of a gamer than I am. I just don't have I only have a Mac. One of the things that's you can't do with a Mac, well, typically you can't do, is have a live wallpaper. You can't have live wallpaper that's moving and animated. And I see a lot of these gamers have live wallpaper. So I'm yo, I need to figure this out. So I figured it out. There's an app on the game store, and then I bought some more digital art to kind of have my own. Check this out. I want to show you some of these. Oh, thank you. Also, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Linhard97. Diamond District Studios, thank you for the follow. Sold Out Ginger, thank you so much. That sounds familiar. Who is that? That sounds really familiar. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I got so many too. Hold on, let me show you some more. I got really cute ones. It's I'm into this. I'm really into this city pop aesthetic, because I'm Japanese, and 80s Japanese music is what I grew up listening to, which is during the time of the economic bubble in Japan. So the music was beyond its time, and it was so good. It was so fun, and I love vaporwave is more tech focused and dark purples and dark pinks and dark, where city pop is more I don't want to say feminine, but a little bit more feminine, a little bit more pastels, focus on pinks and lavenders rather than dark, deep purples. And I'm just much more keen to that sort of stuff. I mean, my keyboard is bright pink or a pastel pink. So I think this one's dope too. I think this one's really dope. This is cool. This one doesn't have as much pink and lavender that I love, because lavender is my one of my favorite colors, the light purple. But I thought this was very nostalgic. My wife is from Japan, and I originally am from Japan too. So there's and I lived in Japan for about 7 years of my life. So I just love. There's just a little nostalgic feeling to all of this that I love so much. I thought the bookstore one was really dope. And previously, I need to figure out a way to do this, because before, what I would do is also, this is my previous wallpaper, right? I have my goals in the background, but I don't have my goals when I do this, which is unfortunate, but it looks dope. So, and I just need to remove that wallpaper. I'm debating whether or not to keep this app, but I think I will. And I downloaded actually a few more pieces of this digital art that I need to upload. Check this out. So let's see, where is it at? This is so stupid, but I love it. I got this as well. This is from there's a YouTube playlisting channel called Jazz Hop. I thought it's dope. Oh, we already saw that one. I thought this was dope too. You can see it moving in the background. I like this one. There's some pinks and purples back here, but this is really what a neighborhood street in Japan looks like. So this is extremely nostalgic for me. And oh, this is one. Or we already saw that one. Oh, this is cool too. says Jazz Cafe or Jazz Hop Cafe, which is the YouTube channel. This is dope. It's really cool because like small businesses in Japan, like in America, there's like zoning, so you can't have like a shop or a restaurant in like neighborhoods. But in Japan, I don't know what the zoning laws are specifically, but I know that like in every neighborhood, there's restaurants right next to a house. Like usually people that own their own restaurant or business and stuff do it from the first floor of their house, and the second floor is where they live. Like that's pretty common. So like especially for these like local mom and pop shops, and like in general, like unlike most Western countries and stuff, like every Japanese person, like, or at least like, yeah, most Japanese people can cook as well. So like it's really weird. Like in America, lots of people go out, so there's lots of money in the restaurant and food business, but because nobody is able to cook from home, the level of quality of food outside just like is way low compared to, for example, Japan, where like nobody goes out to eat unless it's worth going out to or it's cheap. It is worth going out to. So it's like it's the level of quality for all these like places to go out and eat is just so much more because everybody has the option to go out to eat. There's no real reason to go out unless it's that good. So anyway, this is just like my vibe. It's like the chill lavender and purple stuff. So I just want to show this because I thought it was dope. All right, let's pull up the session here. We're going to talk about this mixed feedback here. What up, Parker? That's who it was. I thought I knew who it was. All right, also, I'm going to check this out. I also got some news. Hold on, let me talk about this too, real quick. I need to talk about this before we go on. I just bought some new speakers, and y'all remember previously, if y'all have been on the stream before, had big old studio monitors. Like they're huge and way too big, especially for this room, because I have a studio with 2 rooms, but it was just getting booked out so often that I had to like book time at my own studio to work on mixes, and there was just due dates that I couldn't hit. So I'm like, yo, I just need to have a personal space, and I'm cheap, so instead of getting another personal office and paying California rent for that, I kind of made a really nice, a fairly nice studio space in a spare bedroom in my little area in my house. So yeah, so, and I got these new, so the speakers that I previously had, they're called PMC IB1S. I can show y'all. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, I don't want to show like prices and stuff. I'm not trying to flex. Just show pictures here. All right, here you go. I had these speakers. They're huge, and they were genuinely like as taller than my torso area. And that's like that bottom woofer is like a 10-inch woofer, and it was super great. PMCs are like really dope. It is just way too big for this room, like way too big. So it just didn't work out. And the low end on these are clean, so they got some special technology where like, see that like bass port at the bottom here, like here, I can use my mouse. So what am I doing? So the bass port at the bottom, what it does is there's like a channel through like the back, so the woofer doesn't go directly out the bass port like that. It doesn't do that. So what it does, it's like the woofer goes, there's like a channel that's padded and filled with foam, and it goes up this channel, up the back, and through up the front, and then back through the back, all padded with acoustic foam, and then goes out the bass port. So it's like really clean low end, and you do not need a sub with this. I think this goes to like 24 hertz or some ridiculous. So it's like a full range monitor. It was dope. It was really dope. I love them. And before that, I had another pair of bigger speakers called ATC 45s. And what up, Josh? Thanks for joining us. I gotta show you these speakers. Hold on. So let me show you the speakers that I got, because this is gonna be super surprising. I did a whole review like a typed out review on like Facebook and just like more personal spaces. But this is a very surprising change of pace. I got some new speakers, but guess what? They're tiny. They look crazy. Look at this. Look at this. You see how small this is? This is a 5-inch woofer with a tweeter, and see, it's the bass ports are on top, and that's ampamang. Also, I have a little bonsai tree with a totoro on that side. A good friend of mine, Riyadh, gave me this is a really nice gift. He gave it to me as a gift. It was it's a glass jar filled with a bunch of origami cranes, but they're all like this is a super cool gift he gave me. Like really cool decoration, so I leave that up here too. Anyway, these speakers are tiny, and I'm actually really excited about them. The crazy thing about these speakers, they may be tiny, but the reason why I'm keeping them, so what I wanted to do was go back. I sold the PMCs thinking that I would go back to my original speakers, like the big ATCs. I was like, all right, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go back to the ATCs. But I ended up, I was like, all right, my good friend, a friend of mine, his name is Jesse Ray Ernster. Jesse Ray Mixes, I believe, is on his Instagram tag, and he's 30 years old and already has a couple Grammys as a mixer. He's mixes for Burna Boy, who won a Grammy for World Music, I think, last year. Was one of the recording engineers for Kanye's Jesus is King album, and that won a Grammy. So as well as what else? There's a couple of things. Oh, did mixed Woman by Doja Cat, which is doing really great right now. But anyway, he's like, you gotta check out these speakers. He's a big, like, these are such a boutique, really random pair of speakers. He's like, you gotta check these out. This will blow your mind before you go back to ATCs. You gotta listen to these. So I went out on a whim. I had cash, so I got these from Vintage King, and I have this 30-day free trial, or 30-day return policy thing. So I'm like, yo, I gotta check these out. And boy, oh boy, this is like just a detour. I'm not gonna like keep these. I thought I would just like listen to them to see what like it is crazy. Here, I'm gonna show you more pictures and stuff, what they look like. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. They're so weird and like, let me see. They look crazy. They look like they were made on the Death Star. Like, straight up. They look like look at this. Look at that. That's just so crazy to me. So this is a passive pair of monitors. So this is also my first set of passive monitors. That means that they don't have an amp. There's no on and off switch on the back. They have no electronics in them. And have to buy an amp separately, which is like the first time I ever had to do this. So these are pretty expensive without actually having to say like the price. They're within the same price realm of these big speakers that I was using for so long. So it's like, all right, these are either what's the point of these? So I listened to them. Okay, they go deeper than the ATCs, and the low end is so tight. And we say, like, engineers will say fast. It doesn't mean that the woofer moves fast, because I mean, like, if an 80 hertz waves goes through a woofer, it's the same speed, right? It has to be to make 80 hertz. But what I mean by fast is that, like, you with some cheaper monitors and cheaper speakers, like the kick hits, for example, and it like vibrates a little bit before it returns to its original position. These, like, they stop. And so, like, transients on these are ridiculous. The transients is just ridiculous with these. Like, I've never heard, like, compression so easily than these speakers. It's just so wild. I took them to a good friend, another engineer, Bob Horn, who's worked on Neo, BTS, Lupe Fiasco, one of my favorites, like a lot of big names. And he I took him to his place and I'm like, you got to listen to these. And he hates near fields. He has $40,000 Augsburger speakers. Yeah, much. Like, not even close to Genelec. Like, it puts Genelec to shame. Like, I'm telling you, as far as, like, speed goes. Like, oh my goodness. And, like, so he has these $40,000 Augsburger speakers, which are, like, huge mains. A lot of, like, big studios and artists have them. That's what he's been using for years. And, he's like, yo, no matter how many near fields I try and smaller speakers I try to like pair up with them and has this as a secondary set of monitors, it just doesn't work. And he's like, I can't get used to them. He's tried so many high-end monitors, like near field monitors. I brought him to his place just as like for fun, like, you got to check this out. And he listened to him and and he's like, yo, I could mix on these. And these are 5-inch tiny speakers. Like, this is crazy. Like, it's so crazy. The low end is so crazy and they're so tiny. Like, it just doesn't sound, they don't sound tiny. And another thing too, like, this is a two-way. So it's a tweeter and a woofer. Like, that's it. Like, up until now, for like at least the past 3 to 4 years, I've only worked on, longer than that, 5 years. I've only worked on 3-way monitors. And the benefit, so there's something called a crossover. And I might be like repeating stuff that people already know. But like a crossover is the power amp that feeds the signal for the speakers. What it does is it like splits up the energy. So like part of the power goes to the tweeter, so the tweeter has power, and part of the power goes to the woofer. And the crossover kind of tells you which frequency like the tweeter stops and which frequency, like, so it's basically a high pass low pass filter. So like now up to 700 hertz the woofer is taken care of. Like 20 to 200 hertz the woofer is taken care of, and anything above that is the tweeter or whatever, right? So there's benefits to a 3-way versus 2-way, and there's also benefits to 2-way. So anyway, this is let me type it in. Electroacoustic. It's a Swiss company. Anyway, so the usually with 3-way monitors, the crossover is closer to upper mid range. There's like from the tweeter, the top end, to the mid range. There's like a crossover, usually around like 2 to 4K from my experience, and then there's like another crossover that's in the low mids. So basically, like the entirety of the mid-range, especially where the vocals sit, like the mid-range is where the magic's all at, especially for mixing. So it kind of makes sure that there's no crossover in the mid-range. So kind of keeps it open and clear for everything to be heard. 2-way monitors, usually there's a crossover, give or take a few hundred hertz, but around 1K, right? And so it's right in the middle, so that can cause some potential, like, it makes it the mid-range less clear potentially because there's this high pass low pass filter and there's this transition between tweeter to woofer. So it's just totally different. So I didn't think I'd like 2-way monitors, but I really like these 2-way monitors. And the dude that made these in Switzerland, he kind of has from what I can tell, like, he has a patent on these, and the technology is that the woofer has the least amount of mechanical friction ever built into a speaker. So like that's why it moves so quickly and precisely, and it stops so precisely. There's just no mechanical friction, which is crazy. Ever tried Key 3s? I have tried Key 3s. In fact, I've even listened to the Key 3 with the bass extensions. They sound really dope. I think they sound really cool. But why do I not have Key 3s? That is the question. I think from a mastering, scenario, which is different, right? I will say, picking speakers for mastering specifically versus picking speakers for mixing is really similar, but also at the same time pretty different. And those I would say is great for like a mastering engineer or a hi-fi enthusiast. And I would say that even though I'm an engineer, I'm definitely parts of me are definitely like a hi-fi enthusiast. Like, I really enjoy good speakers and listening to great music. For example, like before this, I even tried out Focal Trio 11s, which is like their big flagship monitor from Focal. It's like what, $8,000 a pair plus tax, USD. And I tried them out. For mixing, just it was for like as a listener, like as a consumer listening to music. Oh my gosh, absolutely Absolutely one of the best ever. Like the high end detail is crazy, and you can hear reverb for days. But there's just something going on. It felt like some phase issues, maybe like because it's really a in one cabinet. It's really just one speaker and a subwoofer in the same cabinet, so it kind of felt a little bit weird. It felt a little off. But like as far as just like a genuine listening experience, I'd probably pick those. For studio monitoring, probably not. So Amphion 218s, yeah. So Amphion is another really popular company. Actually, the amp that I'm using to power these speakers is Amphion. I love Ansi and his son. Like they're good friends. Like the owner of Amphion, they're really really cool people. Really cool family based company. They're really cool. They have really weird sounding speakers, but a lot of engineers love them because they say that it translates so well. Like the translation is great, and they're very mid-range focused, and the top end is a little bit weird. That's definitely a great company, and more importantly, great people who will take care of you. I think that that's important for a company. So yeah, I definitely recommend at least checking them out. I would. So these are technically like mastering monitors. The only thing for mastering that I'd recommend is the big thing for if you're trying to be a mastering engineer. I don't care that. Well, I do care that you have big speakers because you need to hear all the way down. Like you need to have your subwoofer situation like figured out. Like that's very important. You need to have your low end better than everybody else. And that means you need to have a larger room, typically speaking, if let's just pop a larger room so these waveforms can develop. And on top of that, you need to have incredible acoustic treatment. And so, for example, Bob's Horn Studio has incredible acoustic treatment. And so his huge 18-inch subwoofer Augsburgers with 15-inch cones and a horn tweeter is just like absolutely wonderful in that room. The low end response is just crazy. It's super nice, and I think that's more important than anything else. The speakers are fine, whatever. These are definitely mastering grade. They on the back it says mastering monitors, but I think these ones are more like NS10 vibes. They do go lower than the ATCs, but they don't go all the way down. So I'm using these. A lot of mixers use these. Jesse actually upgraded, so they got 3. So they got like $100,000 set of speakers that Sony Mastering uses, and that's kind of why this brand kind of popped off. They did a bunch of shootouts at Sony Mastering Studios in, I think it was Tokyo, but also I don't know about the States. I can't say for sure. But they did that for mastering, and then they have this mid-range, which is $10,000 each, and that's what Jesse has right now. And so you're looking at like $20,000 without the amp by itself. And that's what Jesse's using right now. And then they have this set, which is more like NS10 near field. So they got the near field and 2 mid fields. And mid and then I think the highest one is far field. I'm not quite sure. So there's only like 3 options of speakers. Really highly recommend. What up, Braden? Is that Braden? I know that you've been doing some mastering recently, or so I see. So good for you. Yeah, for mastering is like a whole different craft, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. What I do mostly for these Twitch streams is basically master. So we're going to actually go into what we're going to do. We're going to go into some feedback now. I'm going to download these files that y'all have submitted. Let me turn down this music. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and download some of these tracks that we have here. Is Mo the Merrier. Mo the Merrier is here. I was here. Sorry, I went on a huge tangent. I was just talking. All right, let's see here. Okay, baby, submitted something as well. Change the Scarecrow. Welcome back. All right, I think I downloaded everybody's that's so far submitted so far. All right, let's go back to this. Here, I'll upload these into Pro Tools. So you'll notice, what the heck? Where did it all go? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. So when I do this mix feedback, I'm only looking at the stereo files. So like you'll see me do like a lot of EQ moves on the actual track itself, some compression stuff, trying to get it to sound like what I'm hearing. So the reason why I bring this up is number one, don't do what I'm doing. Don't do what I'm doing. This is kind of like I'm like mastering this, and you don't want to do this sort of stuff. Don't worry about the techniques that I'm using. That's really important. It's not about the techniques, it's about the sound. I'm trying to show you what I'm hearing. So worry more about the art of critical listening and listening from what I'm listening for, and especially if I recommend watching the stream HD in your studio environment. So that means if you mix on headphones or produce on headphones, listen to it on those headphones. Even if it's from your phone, you need to listen to this from your own headphones, especially if we're critiquing your own stuff, right? And if you're able to sit in front of your computer in your mix position, in front of your computer, we need to get that done too, because this is what's important. If you're listening on your car, on your headphones, that's great, and it's amazing, but that's not ideal, because if I say you need to dip 1K, you're hearing what 1K sounds like out of your AirPods, not out of your studio environment. And that's where that's like kind of the very important part of this. So hopefully y'all listen on your studio monitors or like in your headphones in your mix position. I think that's really important, especially if you're submitting your own music, if possible. If not, then I'm not saying that this is worthless, but I'm saying that it is helpful to do this in your own mix position. Would you recommend new Strauss monitors for mastering? I'd recommend at least trying them out. I mean, at least try it. At least try it. For sure. Just sent a mix in 2. Diamond District Studios. I think you did. Did I download yours? Let's do what's the right order? Yep, you did. I downloaded it. My mix is a big band jazz record. Feel free to skip and come back to it later. Why would I skip it? All right, we're going to go in the order of people submitting. Mo the Merrier gave me something called Look, so we're going to do that one first. Yep. Here it is from the top. This is Look.
I need you to look and listen. The ST for storyteller, know I brought the book. I do this for the children that's coming up with no guidance. People watch you suffer and what they offer is silence. My pride might not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about me ducking shells in these streets. In my mama minivan, no, I wasn't no kingpin. I would just push it when I can. Wasn't pushing just because, man, I ain't feel no love. Wasn't food in the fridge, hunger fit me like a glove. No service on the cell, can't even call the man above. But I wonder if he'd answer, cause I hit his phone a few times when Ray was passing from cancer. I bet he watched it rain. I'm doing my own thing, tightrope walking on the screen. Mother Nature is my king, still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training at Fort Myers to watch the Sox. Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks, I love having my mama back. I'm trying to spread this love cause I learned karma smack. I'm trying to spread these raps cause I heard I got a knack. Nigga, Nigga, Hey man, how I'm fucking around still better than your favorite rapper?
Nice. Oh, Jamel, sorry, the exclamation point, the bots, they only work on Twitch. So if you come join us on Twitch, then you can type in exclamation point rules. Sorry, that doesn't work on Facebook, or I think I'm Twitch streaming also to Facebook and to YouTube. So that just doesn't work on YouTube, unfortunately. So come over to Twitch, type in exclamation point rules. You'll see the comments there. All right, let's talk about the song real quick. Nice short, minute and 15-second song.
My pride might not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about me.
I'm just gonna kind of do my thing and try things out first.
Minivan. No, I wasn't no kingpin. I would just push it when I can. Wasn't pushing just because, man, I ain't feel no love. Wasn't food in the fridge, hunger fit me like a glove. No service on the cell, can't even call the man above. but I wonder if he'd answer. Cause I hit his phone a few times when Ray was passing from cancer. I bet he watched it rain. I'm doing my own thing, tightrope walking on the screen. Mother Nature is my king, still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training in Fort Myers to watch the Sox. Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks, I love having my mama back. I'm trying to spread this love cause I learned karma smack. I'm trying to spread these raps cause I heard I got a knack, nigga, yeah. Silence, my pride might not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about.
Sorry, I'm trying a few things first to see exactly how to say. I want to all right, so there's I want to talk about a little bit. This is a good one to talk about some like low end and mid range, especially with the vocals here. So let me just try that.
My pride might not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about me. Ducking shells in these streets in my mama minivan. No, I wasn't no kingpin, I would just push it when I can. Wasn't pushing just because, man, I ain't feel no love. Wasn't food in the fridge, hunger fit me like a glove. No service on the cell, can't even call the man above. But I wonder if he'd answer, cause I hit his phone a few times when Ray was passing from cancer.
Alright, this is giving me, is anybody else kind of hearing the comb filtering effect that y'all are hearing? Maybe not. But
not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about me. Ducking shells in these streets in my mama minivan.
So this one is very interesting. I want to talk a little bit about the vocals, the mid-range, and then let's talk about like the beat in general. So let's talk about the vocals, which I think, I mean, I'm a vocalist, but I think is also like the most important part of the song. It's in the forefront, it's in the front, it's in the middle, it's getting the most attention. It's usually about the artist and what they're saying. So
not allow me to accept nothing.
So forget what I was trying to do. What I'm hearing is a lot of this. So let me turn these off. Your vocals right now.
But it would've helped knowing someone cared about me. Ducking shells in these streets in my mama minivan. No, I wasn't no kingpin, I would just push it when I can. Wasn't pushing just because, man, I ain't feel no love. Wasn't food in the fridge, hunger fit me like a glove. No service on the cell, can't even call the man above. But I wonder if he'd answer, cause I hit his phone a few times.
So it's a little bit, so it's a lot of mid-range. There's a lot of mid-range in the vocals around, we'll say like 600 to 2K. There's a lot of mid-range, so I'd kind of flatten it out a bit more with the vocals specifically. And I think also when I cut it out here, in general, I think that with something like this, which is more like old school, it's not like trap, right? So I think that you can tame out a little bit of the top end as well in the vocals.
Not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about me. Ducking shells in these streets in my mama minivan. No, I wasn't no kingpin, I would just push it when I can.
Yeah, there's just like a little bit like mid-range stuff from resonances. I'm not exactly sure how I would do it personally, but just some cleaning up to do, because right now it's very like mid-range focused vocal. And I think it could be the mid-range could come down a little bit more. I'm not saying make it a scooped vocal, but I think that right now it's kind of, it's a little bit pokey in a weird way. So let's, I think that that's going to help the most. So
not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing someone cared about me. Ducking shells in these streets.
So it's what I'm doing. I can't like perfect it here, but I personally don't use Soothe. I know a lot of people love it and swear by it. I don't use Soothe though. Just not one of my things. And
no, I wasn't no kingpin.
This is just some saturation too. There's like some resonance here in the mid range. This is an awesome plugin. I love this. This is like the only channel strip that I actually ever use. And I use this for both mastering and mixing. Like it's so great. Some saturation that kind of changes the tonal balance of the entire song. So this adds some boost and top end, some bottom and top end. So it kind of makes it a little bit more scoopy, just a touch. And that made it sound great. I think the low end is still a little bit.
Pride might not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would've helped knowing.
Did you make the beat? Is this a beat that you downloaded? Is it a 2-track, or do you have the stems to this? But yeah, I actually really like this song. It's really nice to hear like some like, I don't want to say smooth rap, but smooth rap. Like trap is really dope, but you won't catch me recording trap or listening to trap all the time. But I don't mind listening to this sort of stuff. Smooth.
I need you to look and listen. The ST for storyteller, know I brought the book. I do this for the children that's coming up with no guidance. People watch you suffer. And
You don't have the stems. Ah, bummer. All right, then there's not much for me to say as far as like the instrumental.
I need you to look and listen. The ST for storyteller, know I brought the book. I do this for the children that's coming up with no guidance.
So this is what I did is not anywhere near perfect, but it kind of puts it a little bit more in the ballpark of where you want to be.
I need you to look and listen. The ST
Seems like there's some problems with the mixing of the beat itself, but that's not you.
Children that's coming up with no guidance. People watch you suffer, and what they offer is silence. My pride might not allow me to accept nothing else, but it would have helped knowing someone cared.
That doesn't work perfectly, but it's a little bit more like the idea. You can kind of hear where I scooped out the mid-range, kind of even it out a little bit more. I think that's kind of where you want to be. A little bit more where you want to be as far as like the vocals. You might have to like do something with the stems or the beat to kind of match, get the vocal to fit in as well. So maybe you cut a little bit of that mid-range from the beat to kind of let the vocals sit in. I'm not quite sure exactly what you would do, but just be aware of that as well. Yeah, just a lot of like pokey mid-range with the mids and the beat clashing with my vocals a bit. Yeah.
Still trying to get into the swing of things.
The beat right now is like really crazy.
Still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training in Fort Myers to watch the Sox. Energy only change.
120 is a classic problematic like frequency.
Still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training in Fort Myers to watch the Sox. Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks. I love having my.
So notice when I cut all this like mid range out, it makes the vocal feel thin. So like we need to do something. Maybe you might add some like low mids for the vocal as well.
Still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training in Fort Myers to watch the Sox. Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks. I love having my mama back. I'm trying to spread this love cause I learned karma smack. I'm trying to spread these raps cause I heard I got a knack. Nigga, yeah. Still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training in Fort Myers to watch the Sox. Energy only changes form, so I'm painting.
Like it's still not like where you want to be necessarily, but that's like closer as far as you can tell which direction I'm going. So hopefully that helps. Also, this stream is gonna be like it's gonna be on YouTube as well. So if you want to go back, if I give you feedback on your stuff, or you want to take some advice but you don't know exactly what I did, you can always go back to my YouTube channel. These streams stay on YouTube permanently, so you can always go back. That being said,
but I wonder if he'd answer, cause I hit his phone a few times when Ray was passing from cancer. I bet he watched it rain. I'm doing my own thing, tightrope walking on the screen. Mother Nature is my king, still trying to get into the swing of things. Spring training in Fort Myers.
Yeah, the delays on the sides are cool. That was Diamond District Studios on YouTube mentioned that, like the delays on the sides. Yeah, I think that's cool. May have made things worse with the adaptive limiting on the beat to add density. I don't know what the limiter's doing necessarily. How many dBs of gain reduction were you getting, if you remember?
The man above, but I wonder if he.
And I wonder if, because the one thing that's suffering right now with this beat specifically, which again is probably not you, it's probably like the original producer. There's just like no transients. I do not hear like I know that there's a kick and I know that there's a snare, but I just don't hear them. So there's like nothing that's actually, there's no transients or like percussion that's actually moving the beat forward. Where on the other hand, here's a mix that I just did. Like this is you can hear the transients. Listen to the transients on this one.
It's been a minute since I thought about it.
Now granted like it's not like sorry, that was just a few seconds. But I do think that like getting the drums to hit a little bit more would be better. Let me see if I can do something with like master rebalance. This thing is not perfect, but that's not your fault either. Yeah, minus 1.5 dBs of gain reduction on like a limiter isn't too bad. It shouldn't change the tone too much, and not as drastically as what what I'm hearing some things with. So
Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks, I love having my mama back. I'm trying to spread this love cause I learned.
that's so crazy how this plugin works to me. I'm sorry, this is just
Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks, I love having my mama back. I'm trying to spread this love cause I learned karma smack.
And then there's some like low end stuff too, like it's a little bit muddy in the low end. I'm not exactly sure how.
Energy only changes form, so I'm painting Basquiat's on tracks. Stepping over cracks, I love having my mama back. I'm trying to spread this love cause I learned karma smack. I'm trying to spread these raps cause I heard I got a knack. Nigga, Nigga,
Yeah, so just like the punch, I think it could be a little bit more. But other than that, like, honestly, this is a dope song. So it's chill. Like, it's meant to be chill. And I think that that's important to consider. Like, whenever we do, like, so every Wednesday mornings, we do trainings with the interns. And the interns, like, depending on the week, like, sometimes we do, for example, this last week, I gave everybody a session of one of my private sessions that I worked on, and I told them to mix it and use my mix as a reference and kind of not get it as close to my mix as possible, but like just do your best mixes you can, whatever that means to you. And it was so interesting because we get a lot of different mixes that come in, and this is kind of hard to understand without being in the same room. But even as something as simple as the drums being slightly quieter changes the tone and the visualization of where you're listening to the music, how this music will be played, and who you're, like, the visualizations around the music just changes completely. So even if you turn the drums down 2 dB, something super minimal, all of a sudden it'll go from hard and, like, aggressive to a little bit more easy listening. So it's crazy how much the mood changes. And so when I talk about critical listening with these interns at the studio, I often say, like, all right, emotionally, what was the difference? Because mix-wise, it's gonna be like there's never a point where there's no optimal mix, right? I think if optimal is just not distracting, and I think that not distracting is a pretty easy goal to hit. Immersive and not distracting, and some mixes are much more immersive and non-distracting, and just like even as an engineer, you just don't listen to the mix because the song is just so good. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. So yeah, I think on this one, like emotionally speaking, on that note, because it's not punchy, it's really smooth and it's really easy to listen to. It's very calming, relaxing, and the rapping style as well sounds really good on top of that. So I think that that's a really good place. I like that a lot. That's a great song. Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks, Josh. We're going to move on to the next song. There's no other questions on that, and feel free to ask questions on the chat at any time. Up next, we're going to do, that was Mo. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Mo, for submitting that one. Oh, transients. Okay, yeah. Mo asks, what do you mean by transients? So transients is this. Let me show you. Let's see. This looks like it has a lot of transients. So a transient is this. It's the initial hit. It's the spikes. So if I press tab, I have right now tab to transient on. I think, yeah, I have tab to transient off. So every time I hit tab, it'll move to a transient. That's a transient. That's a transient. That's a weak one. But that's a transient right here. This is a transient. So like you'll see like transient shaper or like something like that from SPL. That means it's like you add more attack. So if you were to add more attack on a transient shaper, it'd look like this. And so for compressor, ooh, wow. So for a compressor, I'm just going to show you visually. For a compressor, if you compress something and you do a slow attack, then for the first 30 milliseconds, it'll do this, and then it'll release. So that's why some compressors kind of give the vibe of making things more punchy, because it allows that first initial transient to come in before it squashes everything else. Where if you have a really fast attack, then you're looking at very little transient at the beginning and just squashes the entire thing, which does give a totally different vibe to begin with. Transient shapers. There's two parts to the transient, the punch and then the sustain. There are plugins to control each part and transform the sound. So you can eliminate the punch and make a full sustain pad like a sound, all punch like close hi-hat. Yeah. So the transient is literally just the punch bit. So this is the transient. Yep. Cool. And so there's like this has a lot of trends. So usually like shakers, hi-hats, snare, percussion, kick drum, sometimes even bass slaps, sometimes even some lead like 808s, right? There's all transient bass stuff. And that's important to, and the difficult thing is usually compressors and limiters kill transients, which is why like contrary to popular belief, compressors usually make mixes sound thin unless used correctly. So you want to be careful. You don't want to be compressing everything. And oftentimes like clipping and saturating is a really great option as well. And why a lot of people do like, not sidechaining, parallel compression is because parallel compression, what that is, so instead of compressing the main signal, for example, if you have a drum set, instead of compressing the drum set, you duplicate the track or do a send or whatever, somehow duplicate the track, and you compress the bajoseph out of that duplicated track, and then you blend that duplicated track into the original track. So what it does is it doesn't actually dip the transients. It doesn't actually lower the transients at all. And it doesn't actually lower the transients at all. It rather just brings up the RMS, which is kind of like the average volume. So it actually like more so it brings up the low stuff than it does at RMS. So for example, check this out. So if I do this, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. Hold on. Yeah, I can. Check this out. Okay, let me do Dynamic I Heart New York. It's going to be a good example. Where is it? So check out this little section here, right? I don't even need to read it. So this is parallel compression. So it compresses it, and then I'm bringing in that compress signal. So dry, and then it's just adding that compress signal. So if I just compress this, so no, let me do this first. Let me solo the compress signal first, so you kind of see what it looks like. See how it looks smacked. So I'm adding this, but if I blend it in, the peaks shouldn't change too much. That wasn't enough. Let me do more. The peaks shouldn't change too much. Maybe the peaks get a little bit bigger, but it's mostly the valleys that should be changing, especially with the amount of compression going on. There you go. So the peaks change, but not as much as the valleys change, and that's why parallel compressing is so awesome, because it's less about top down, like bringing transients down. It's more about bringing that stuff in between up. So like bottom up compression. So very useful tool, and very different sounds. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next song. We got up next. We have Noah. We're gonna listen to your song, Noah. What was the name of it? It was Meet Google Drive. What's the name of it? Miss Otis. Okay, sweet. We're gonna listen to this big band jazz. Miss Otis Regrets by Noah Avery. Appreciate you, Noah, for submitting. Nice, it's not playing. There it is.
Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. And she's sorry to be delayed, but last evening down on Lover's Lane she strayed. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. When she woke up and found that her dream of love was gone, Madam, she ran to the man who had led her so far astray. And from under her velvet gown, she drew a gun and shot her lover down. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. the mob came and got her and dragged her from the jail. Madam, they strung her up on the willow across the way. And the moment before she died, she lifted up her lovely head and cried, Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch. Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today.
That's hard. That's hard. I love that. I love that. It's dope. All right, let me try something here.
When she woke up and found that her dream of love was gone, Madam, she ran to the man who had led her so far astray. And from under her velvet gown, she drew a gun and shot her lover down. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today. When the mob came and got her and dragged her from the jail.
All right. This is feeling pretty good. This is feeling pretty good. Jazz type stuff, big band type stuff. Very interesting. So I will say every genre has a culture, especially with the way things sound. EDM and various subgenres within the realm of EDM and electronic music is very much, there's a sound culture, over compression, a lot of clipping, a lot of like just making things sound big, a lot of big hitting, like hard knocking drums, right? Hip hop, typically no side chaining, and that's common practice for mixing and tones for hip hop. Pop music, and there's various pop music is anything, country music, gospel music, and of course jazz and classical music all has their various cultures within their subgenres and their categories. And I will say that in my career, there have been very few times, granted not never, but there have been a few times, only a few times, that I've gotten the opportunity to mix something like this. So my advice with this is less limited because my knowledge about the background with genres of this nature is also limited. But that being said, as a listener, an enjoyer, and a pro engineer, I think I do have some general feedback from what I can tell. Number one, just like generally, I don't really ever use a tilt EQ. Like it's very rare that I pull up a tilt EQ, but I do think that having it tilted for this sounded great. I just felt like it was a little bit top end heavy, so I just want to warm it up a touch. In the vocals specifically, there was this like 2 to 4K stuff. When I pulled it down, it made the vocals a little bit quiet. So what I probably do in exchange is like just this.
When she woke up and found that
To be honest, the vocals are in a good space by itself already. With the ones in this.
Madam, she
I
ran
really like.
to the man.
Usually, like for example, if you listen to like Earth, Wind, and Fire, or like a funk mix, which I do have a lot more experience in, horns are very quiet, surprisingly quiet, but really bright, and they cut through. So like it's crazy how loud the horns are. but for a genre like this and for the vibes of this, I think they're actually perfect. Like, they're supposed to be loud. It is about the horns as well as the vocalist for a genre like this.
When she woke up and found that her dream of love was gone, madam, she ran to the man who had led her so far astray. And from under her velvet gown, she drew a gun and shot her lover down. Madam, Miss Otis regrets she's unable to lunch today.
Yeah, so just like in general, like a general misbalance of top end to low end. In general, the balance between vocals, instruments, various things, I think is great. I think that is really great.
She ran to the man who had led her so far.
If you're gonna get Diamond District Studios, if you're gonna get Isotope, I wonder if I still have the bot doing this. You want Isotope products, you can get 10% off Isotope, and they usually do a 7-day free trial, but since I'm sponsored by Isotope, you can do 10% off Isotope products if you want to buy them out. Just buy outright. Or if they do have like a monthly payment program where you can get all of their plugins for a monthly fee. If you want to get Isotope stuff, what you can do, they do a 7-day trial, but if you use that link specifically, they give you 30 days instead of 7. So if you want to try out the plugins for an entire month, and that's usually a great time to try it out. So, yeah. All right, going back to this mix here. So last thing, I think it's still a little bit too mono. Honestly, like if we're doing this, I like this one better. Like, I like the sound, and I know that it's also widening the low end too.
When she woke up and found that her dream of love was gone.
Like, let's listen to just the imager. I'm gonna bypass the imager as well. Ooh.
When she woke up and found that her dream of love was gone.
Really space out. I assume you did not fully hard pan the backing vocals. Like the man on the left hand side.
She woke up and found that her
There's a girl on the right side and the man on the left side. Hard pan. No PP, no meow panning. I don't know if I'm allowed to say stuff like that on Twitch, so no meow panning. No PP. We pan like full grown adults. We pan as if you're I was trying to say something clever, it just didn't happen. Man, all of my mixes sound really mono, but I mix in headphones and I'm afraid to go completely L or R with any element in the mix. I'm looking to cross the VSTs. So actually, usually personally, I have the opposite opinion. If I mix on speakers and I hard pan left and right, sometimes it doesn't translate on headphones. If I mix pan hard left and hard right on headphones, then it almost always translates on speakers. So, because like if you pan things hard left and hard right, it feels in headphones, because it's so separated, it feels like there's a dramatic volume bump. So I would actually say do hard panning in headphones. Do it. And I think that would help a lot. You can say it. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Jay Miller. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, you need to pan like a man. No meow panning. No pussycat panning. I would say 75% in one direction is nice. Hard left, hard right is good for speakers and effects. Yo, none of this 35, 50. I mean, so okay, I'm not going to say this is not a hard rule. This is not a hard rule. But the point is, be brave. Be brave, my friend. Be brave and pan it all the way to the left. Pan it all the way to the right. Yeah, I'm still scared. I don't want to get banned. So what if someone from my church is watching? I'm being no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no pussycat panning. Be brave. Be brave. Also, it's been a minute, so thank you for following Cool Lurk. Cool Lurk. Is it Cool Irk? Cool 3RK. Thank you for following Cuz LM Black. Cousin Black. Thank you for following Limeage. Appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing, Lynn Hart. If you're on Amazon and you'd like to subscribe for free, if you have Amazon Prime, think about doing so. Yeah, you need that encouragement, dog. Everybody needs encouragement. We're all a bunch of insecure poop heads. That's all it is. I just pretend like I'm more secure than most people, but nobody's more secure, man. Everybody's insecure. Do it. Do it all the way. You can do it. I believe in you. It's easier for me to tell you than for like you to tell yourself. So you do it. Do what you want. F the rules. Nah, pay attention to the rules, but I mean like then F the rules after you pay attention to them. Here's before.
When the mob came and got her and dragged her from the jail, madam, they strung her up on the willow across the way.
I think that's much better. Like keep it dark and warm and not more that stereo bass does feel super warm though. Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of stereo bass. The reason why people mono their bass is because of actual technological inferiority. When you're cutting vinyl records, when you're cutting the original Baby Mother to make all the copies off of, if you had stereo bass, then it was much more likely for the needle to pop out of its track. So now that we actually don't do vinyl, and if you're going to master for vinyl, which if you are going to sell vinyl records, you should have it specifically vinyl mastered. That's usually part of the process. But if not, why would you mono that bass? It makes no sense. I always stereoize the basses, especially like a good 808 that's like thick, especially in the chorus, right? Because width also turns into energy. Feels great. So gives that sense of space. Yeah, stereo that bass. I feel guilty now. My low end is always mono. Oh, I'm not saying you should feel guilty. And here's the thing. I have opinions because it's my job as like an influencer, whatever the hell that means. It's my job to have opinions, right? And that's my opinion is in general people are monoing too much. But that being said, it's not wrong to mono it. Yeah. It's my job to have opinions. There you go. I have to have opinions. Because this is so funny. I'm an influencer BS. I have lots of listeners that respect my opinion, but they don't even know if I'm good at mixing. It's also for club PA systems for phasing, but however, it's never a problem. You know what you could do is you can have an elliptical filter and mono out the bass in the club as well. So if you have a super stereo mix, then in the club, the DJ can literally mono out the bass himself. So it's never been an issue in my entire career, and for anybody else that I've ever asked, it's almost never been an issue because they can fix that in the club. Sup, Dee Kei, this is Nodi. What's up, young hunk? What up, Nodi? Good to see you. Good to chat with you. Yes, hashtag stereo that bass. No, for real. Like a good stereo, especially, okay, best thing, mono bass, quiet, a little bit quiet mono bass in the verses. If there's a bass at all, like really, like even filter out the low stuff if you want to really like make the chorus jump. Like do some like high pass stuff of the bass a little bit, make it a little bit less deep, and make it mono and make it slightly quiet. And when the chorus hits, all three things, you let go of that high pass filter, you go all the low end, you make it wide and you make it louder, and then boom, that bass is gonna be hitting in the chorus. Those are some secret sauces right there. The next big purchase is going to be better monitors. Now we're working on 8-inch JBL studio monitors. You know what? I actually really like the 8-inch, like the prosumer, like the LSR 308s. My favorite one is like the 306, like the mid one, the 6-inch woofer one, the 307, 306. I don't know what it is. Those actually sound really great. I actually really like those. No complaining on that about those. Yeah, I mean, with technology and the way that the marketplace is rolling with worldwide capitalism and economics, like it's almost impossible to have a bad set of speakers. Like it's really hard to have a bad set of speakers, and even with these cheaper stuff, like they sound great. They sound great. They sound better than NS10s. I mean, let's be honest. Like the golden age speaker from the 80s, 70s, and 80s is NS10s. And have you ever heard NS10s? They sound so bad. And that's why people like them, because they translated. So speakers just sound better because technology has gotten so better. It's more about getting used to a set of speakers and working on speakers for a long time, the same set of speakers for a long time. So um, I highly recommend that. Yeah, so the JBL ones sound great. But if you're going to get, what are you thinking about upgrading to? Because I also am a huge speaker enthusiast. As much as I am an engineer, I'm like a hi-fi enthusiast. I love speakers and monitoring. All right. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to move on to the next song. That was Miss Otis. That was a song by Miss Otis called Regrets, mixed by Noah Avery, probably recorded by Noah if I'm not mistaken. Man, I'm mixing on 3-inch pile bookcase speakers. Haha. Well, you know what? Your mid-range is probably going to be pretty tight. So, there you go. Yeah, so there's a little bit of on that track you kind of saw what I had. So, there you go. There you go. And always reference. Except, yeah, never mind. We're gonna go on to the next one. What is next? Who's next? What is next? I really have to pee. Can I pee? Am I gonna pee? I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna play some music. I'm gonna pee. I really gotta pee. Was it playing? It's not playing. Little intermission here. I really gotta pee. All right. I'll be right back. And then we're going to go on to OK Baby Music. Come join us, OK Baby Music. We're going to listen to Breaking Silence. Tell us a little bit about that while I'm gone. Did you mix this? Did you record this? All that stuff. I'll be right back. Hashtag no peeing. What is this BS? Hashtag no peeing. Alright, I'm sorry. I like the lo-fi music. You like the lo-fi music? Apparently I can do a poll. Hold on, wait a second. Polls. Let me try this out. Add source. Manage poll. Form setting. Cloudbot. What is this? Twitch? Poll type Twitch? What? Background color. What? Oh my, what is going on? I've never done this before. Poll. An active poll. Done. What does that do? Hold on, wait a second. Properties. I can do what? Can I get like a voting system? Are you kidding me? Form setting. Bar setting. Source. Manage poll. Show poll closed. Fade time. Source. HTML. Custom code. Sourcing. Control. Custom refresh of current page. Huh? How do you do this? Apparently, I can make a poll. I'll do that later. This is dumb. All right, I'm gonna minus that out. I'm gonna delete it. Yep. All right, we're gonna go back into the next song, which is "Okay Baby Music." Breaking silence. It seems like y'all said we have hashtag no ping. Okay Baby Music. This is my own song, mixed and mastered myself, recorded Vox with SM57. Only have one vocal speaker left side and cross check with headphones. Wait, you have a single mono speaker? That's actually genius. That's actually really awesome. Checking your mixes in mono may lead to other stuff, and then you could just do your panning on headphones. That's actually a pretty good situation there. All right, we're going to listen to it. Breaking Silence. Okay, baby. Here it is. I like the delays. Dope. Cool song. Great vibe. Very spacey. I love the synths, the use of synths and the instrumental. I think that's fire. Cool song. Just in general, just really cool. We're gonna kind of go into dipping a little bit. One thing, it seems like there's like a lot of compression either in some sort of instrumental bus, or the drums or something. There seems to be a lot of compression, which is not wrong. It just gives a different vibe, and I think it's actually dope. we get more of that kick to come out? The low end of the kick. I want a little bit more low end from the kick. This is gonna the free UAD Pultec, when I load it up, I'm not even gonna do anything. When I turn it on and off, listen to what it does tonally to the music. This is like one of the best. This, just putting it on a mix bus, the free one, the Legacy EQP1A. As long as you have some sort of universal audio gear, like this comes free with it. Listen to it. Did you hear that? Here, before I do anything. Off. Off. Isn't that cool? So cool. So cool. I might not even do anything to it to be. Also, can you tell me what you did on like your mix bus? It seems like it's limited, or there's like some compression or something. Can you tell me a little bit? Can you tell me what you kind of did on like the final stages? You know what the Faraday limiter is? Oh yeah, we're friends. We're friends. We can be friends. Cool. Yeah, Waves mastering tool. What's that one? Is that like... Is that I don't know what that is. Is that just like a genre of plugins, or is that actually the name of the plugin? Is a mastering tool. Faraday limiter inflator. So it seems like, okay, so that you do have a lot of saturation and compression and limiting going on. I'm not crazy. So in general, there seems to be a lot of that stuff. And it's kind of affecting like the sidechain, the punch. It makes everything kind of feel a little bit sidechain. You're losing some low end out of the kick and the bass. The transients could be a little bit more punchy. It could be a little bit more like, I could hit a little bit more. I mean, like, they're all at good volumes, but I feel like the transients are just cut off a little bit too much. Especially here in this, like, when the guitar's going, when the bass is going, and the low mids of the synths are going. Just the punch of the kick and snare just goes away, versus the punch and the kick the kick and the snare have a lot more punch during the verse, when you may want to emotionally have the song be less hype and less punchy. So like you're kind of doing the opposite of what you potentially want to do here. And I can only assume that that's only because of like the master bus, mix bus type stuff. So I'd recommend checking that out. A little bit like upper mid range, top end stuff going on. I like how bright it is. This just scoops out the mid-range mostly. This is like the tonality of the EQ. This just scoops it out a little bit more. I personally like the sound of scoop more than some old school mid-forward stuff. So I think this one make it feel a little bit more modern. I mean, I could do something like this. I don't think this is going to be the end all. That works better than I thought. Especially in the chorus. I'd turn this up more in the chorus. The guitar has a lot of that like 1 to 3K. That's like, it's actually kind of cool. Hold on, let me. Probably dip a little bit more out of that stuff for the guitar. I'll push it back a little bit too. No, I think it doesn't sound, what did you say? Does that snare sound kind of lacking in fullness? No, it sounds lacking in volume and transient and punch. So, no, I think the sound selection is great. I think that works. I think it's more about like the punchiness. It's just, and I think that's directly related to volume and compression. So just be careful with that when you're like doing some like final limiting stuff. And this is why like a great mastering engineer, which I work with a few, and obviously not obviously, but I do get hired a lot for mastering specifically, even though I don't claim to be a mastering engineer. I do think that what am I gonna say? Sorry. Snare sound. Okay. Sorry, I'm zoning. I'm so zoning out. What the heck just happened? I just had a brain fart. This is like a good mastering engineer will almost do nothing. They'll let somehow they'll get it louder and work their black magic without affecting the transients, without affecting the balance of the mix. So like, this is something that is very difficult to do and takes a lot of experience and great speakers with great transient reproduction. Just kind of getting that punch all the way through without killing it, which limiters will do. They will do that. They will kill the transients, and so it's like a combination of like saturation clipping, bringing up the low stuff. It's like all over the place. It's not even just compression and saturation and clipping. It's also EQ as well. And so yeah, just great speakers with great responsibility. I don't know if I have good responsibility, but I do have great speakers. I'm really proud of these boys and girls, boy and girl. One's a boy, one's a girl. All right, don't ask me why. All right, we're gonna move on to the next song. Hopefully that helps quite a bit. I think that's kind of like a good vibe. I think actually there's a plugin by Plugin Alliance that I think might work well on this, like another added warmness factor here, especially if we put it in the mid-range, turn this on. This basically just like what this does. From what I can hear, it just does this. This is all the plugin does. The plugin just like dips this stuff. So it just kind of makes it smooth. 20-1. There you go. Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Holy shoot, my bad. That's my bad. I apologize. I scared everybody that was listening to the stream. Oh, here's it before. So before. That sounds much better. So I think that it sounds great, and I think that actually it's a pretty minimal change, which goes to show this is actually a really good job on the mix there. So congrats. We're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, baby, you're subscribed. So do you want me to bounce this and send this to you as for reference? Say yes, or forever hold your peace. And while you're responding and let the lag pull up, we're going to do Andre Van Drunen. Is Andre Van Drunen here in the chat? Say what up, Andre. Say what up. Hey, what's up, Andre? Thanks for staying with us in the chat. Do you stereo image in the mix, or is that a mastering process that is usually in the mix? If at all possible, we want to avoid it in the final mastering stage or in like the mix bus macro stage. We'll call it the macro stage. It's much better to have great width in the micro stage when you have control of the individual tracks and different things. I would say feel free to be brave with your width as well. There are some things that you lose out on when things go out of phase, when you make things too wide and it starts to go out of phase, especially with artificial widening. But that's typically, unless you go too much, it's pretty obvious when that becomes an issue. So don't do too much at the same time. Making things wide can give a vibe to it. I think it sounds great. All right, up next, we're gonna do okay baby music. Okay baby, can you just DM me on Discord? Just say hey, and then I'll pull it up. And then we're gonna do who's next? Andre's song Museum. We're gonna listen to Museum Hall by Andre here. So here we go from the top.
Museum walls, works from many different people expressing their art. I wonder if they knew at all that they'd be remembered, at least by who reads the description cards. But no institution allows the inclusion of those with no public at all. So I'll transform my house into a museum hall. I will hang all the melodies, lay the cards on the floor, and suspend all the harmonies to embellish the chorus. I'll serve the best food in the prettiest plates. I will make sure my guests leave with some something to say, 'cause I'm tired of living, constraining myself, and my joy won't depend on just somebody else. I will unfold my soul, not exposing the walls. I will transform my house into a museum.
Oh, we need to bring up that solo stuff right there. I like how it drops in volume, but it got a little bit too quiet in this section, especially the lead violins.
One day when I'm gone, a new family will come and inaugurate its galleries. Exhibitions must end to make room for some novelties. But the memories remain on the minds of them all, who remember my house as a
The ending strings was perfect in volume. Yo, I have like two things for feedback. That song was mixed really well, and to be honest, like even the choice of dryness for the vocals, it made it feel very, very like show tune, like musical, orchestral. I really actually I think that was like perfect for the vibe. It felt like this is from a musical, and I think that was the vibe, and I think that was perfect. I really think that was a good mix. There's only two things that I want to say. One, way too much de-essing. The dude's almost got a lisp, so I would say like and I would say most mixers tend to accidentally de-ess too much. Don't get over focused on the S's, yeah, and just de-ess a little bit less. I think that's the first thing. Number two. The string placement in the entire song is almost perfect, except in this one spot when it drops off and there's like a solo going on with no vocals. You could keep it quiet, but automate it to let at least that lead out. Do something here where it could be a little bit more. And I understand it's supposed to like drop in volume and kind of give some space, but I think that something could be done here to kind of give it a little bit more volume. In like what volume as in like volume in hair, like more like oomph. Give it a little bit more bigness. Make it a little bit bigger. This part's a little bit weak. I don't know exactly how you would like change the arrangement or like automate stuff. But and then it gets good here. Like it's literally gets good here too, which is fine. This is actually really great. It sounds like a musical from Disney mixed with some Jacob Collier. Yeah, lists need to be taken out manually if there are any. I don't know if that's manually or whatever. Maybe this dude does have a lisp. I'm not sure. I think that throughout the rest of the song, the strings are perfect. Like, do not make them quieter. Do not make them louder. The ending even is fine too here. It's literally just this. It's literally this. This part, I think, and I don't even know if it's turning it up. I think it might be like automating some EQ. I don't know what it is. It just needs to sound thicker. Other than that, the strings, usually the number one mistake with strings and horns for lesser experienced mixers is that they're just so excited. It's like, oh, it's so dope. It's so fun that we get to use strings and horns, and they just turn them up way too much. And piano feels great. Dynamics in general are great. Vocal tone is great, other than the S's. Like, The S's like are substantially too de-essed. I mean, unless that's just how he sounds. Unless you're using no de-essing and that's just how he is. In that case, I don't want to draw attention to that. But other than that,
I'll serve the best food in the prettiest plates. I will make sure
the mid-range of the vocals is smooth. The piano vocal balance, the strings behind the piano.
I'm tired of living, constraining myself, and my joy won't depend on just somebody else. I will learn.
If anything, like, I don't think you need to do more space. Like, I might experiment with putting some reverb specifically on the strings and the piano. I don't know about doing more on the vocal. I really like the way that it dry sounds. That's a personal preference thing. I like dry. Just giving a little bit sense of width with some reverb, I think would be great. Potentially more.
I'll serve the best food.
This is a really good mix. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a really great mix. And minimal stuff like this, where it's vocal, piano, and strings, like very minimal music, is very hard to mix. This stuff is harder to mix. For me, it's much harder to mix than like a pop song with 150 tracks. Yeah, take off that de-esser. Trying to figure something to make this part of the instrumental break bigger. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure what it is. And this is like and I'm gonna point something out, and I don't think this makes it bad, but I will point it out. I don't think it takes a pro to recognize that those strings are fake. But then again, I don't care that they're virtual instruments. It sounds great. The arrangement is great. The composition is great. So, good job on this. Good job on this. Really great job on this. I don't really have any notes other than that. Like, I didn't even pull up an EQ. I'm not even touching anything. I'm really not touching anything because I think that's great. Good job. We're going to move on to the next song. Like, that's the one downside of doing a great job, is that you really don't get much feedback. Good job. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one, which is good job, Andre. Appreciate that. Ego Change Remix, Final Stretch Master. Final Reach. We're gonna play this back. Here it is. Here it is. That is some dope production. That is really great production, great arrangement. That's awesome. That was super awesome. I like the glitching and stuff, and I like how dirty it is. Everything is just so dirty and in your face, and I think that like for the right moments, for the right vibe, I think that that's like perfect. I think most people, even if they wanted to, can't make something like that punchy. All right, we're gonna do this. I think that this will help a little bit.
I don't wanna be found. I'm an addict for certainty. Let it get to your head, all the lies that you've led to this point, and now it's again.
More, give me more.
Yes, I'm alone, and I don't need you.
Dissonance Crayer is crazy. Again, the production and like the sections, the arrangement, this is crazy too. Key change, the modulation. And I'm gonna guess that this is mostly from, again, another guess, but this is coming from mix bus, master bus is my guess. But I feel like you're losing a lot of potential low end opportunity from the amount of push that you're going into the mix bus, because it's squashed, and I think that's an understatement. And when you squish things, that's fine. It's cool and it's great. But you lose a lot of low end. So you sacrifice a lot of low end here. So right now it's probably a little bit too much low end, but you lose a little bit of punch when it's super squash here, but it's actually keeping this amount of punch, the amount of punch that you already have with the amount of crushing that you're doing is a pretty difficult task to begin with. So that's cool. You can kind of really hear like just the subtle change, mostly within the mid-range area. Takes over. Yeah, and then it's super duper aggressive, and the synths is like what makes the song. But again, back here, you just kind of really lose that punch almost completely. Like you can hear it, but to be heard is different from like to feel it push air, and it does. It's not pushing. I can hear it, but it's not pushing air. Otherwise, this is actually really good. This is great, and more importantly, like it's about like the vibe. And I think the one thing that this song is doing really good is creating an emotion, creating a sense of space that anybody into this kind of sort of stuff can really heavily get involved with without doing too much. What I'm doing right now is kind of some like pro level stuff and not more something that is necessarily needed. I think this is actually a really great mix, great production. And I think this goes to show that with more important than mixing is the arrangement and the production. If you have really great arrangement, and if things are laid out really well and everything has a space, for example, that really aggressive synth is very forward, very loud, and just arrangement wise is very in your face. That is way more important than any sort of EQ moves and compression. So that sounds great. All right. Yeah, that sounds great. Also, who just subscribed? Oh, Nodi, thank you so much for subscribing for free with your Amazon Prime account. I really appreciate that. Thank you for following Lost Ocean Kids. All right, we got that's kind of really all the feedback that I have is just kind of like balancing out the low end with the mid range again. Yeah, that's really what I got. And then the overall compression thing, which I can't uncompress things for you with the stereo file. But there are ways to get this sort of level of smack, like this level of limiting with a little bit more smack to it. And this is much more deeper, higher level stuff that is 100% by feel and is not like a technique. Like I can't just say, do this with the clipper and saturation. It just is so variant on each individual song of different ways. And this is kind of where experimentation comes into play. So I'd recommend just trying different things out and really focusing on getting that punch through. And I think that if in the case, I'd rather... This is debatable, but there's a sense that I'd be willing to sacrifice just a touch of volume for just a touch of punch. If that means you back off the limiter just a touch for the punch, that'd be dope. Should I take off the maximizing a bit and boost the lows of the kick? I don't think it's a kick thing. I think it's just a general low end because I think the bass as well. The bass also is lacking a little bit in the low end. But the thing is, when you lack low end, that's how you get things louder too. The more bass that you have, the quieter it ends up being in overall perceived volume. So maybe you don't add more bass. Maybe you just clean up the mid-range just a touch. So I'd play with a bunch of different things. And I don't think that you have to sacrifice a ton of volume. I don't think that the way to get this right is to just make it 3 dBs quieter. I don't think that's it at all. I think it's just a touch more... Just a touch more punch, I think, would go a long way. All right, up next, we're only gonna do like one or two more here. Is Lost Ocean Kids in the chat? Is Casper, aka Beat Boy, in the chat? Up next, we're gonna listen to Diamond District Studios. We're gonna listen to this song LUYD. This is I'm gonna state. It's always nerve-wracking to get feedback on a mix. So I try to be as polite as possible and hope everybody in the chat's doing the same. So don't be nervous. We appreciate your bravery. This is a sacrifice for science. Except this is not science at all. Here you go.
message.
This time I know that we've reached the end. There's no use for us to pretend. I'm sorry it's over. We don't need each other. And I know you can't take all the blame. My love will remain the same. I just gotta start over, 'cause we've hurt each other. Honestly, I need to breathe. This pain inside is killing me. You and I aren't meant to be. It's over. Uthando lwakho ngisenalo. Uthando lwakho lungumthwalo. Yothenga umuthi angisakufuni. Yothenga umuthi angisakufuni. Uthando lwakho ngisenalo. Uthando lwakho lungumthwalo. Yothenga umuthi angisakufuni. Yothenga umuthi angisakufuni. Kudala ngikhuluma, angisafuni nokubuza. Angeke ngisakhala mina, ngiyakushiya bonke lobunzima. I know you can't take all the blame, and my love will remain the same. I just gotta start over, 'cause we've hurt each other. Honestly, I need to breathe. This pain inside is killing me. You and I aren't meant to be. It's over. Honestly, I need to breathe. This pain inside is killing me. You and I aren't meant to be. It's over. It's all over.
End of message. To delete this message, press 7. Message deleted.
I just realized something. The back of my phone is cracked. When did that happen? What the heck? I always have a super heavy duty case on it. What? Oh well. That must have been from a while back. Great job on this song. Really great job on this song.
Cause we've heard.
In general tonality, it feels like a little bit more like it definitely feels live. It feels more like it sounds live. It sounds real. The balance and everything is great. The bass sounds great. The drums sound phenomenal. The panning is drummer perspective, which, you know, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I think in general it just sounds great. I have just one thing that I want to say is I think that at the end, like the horn delays at the end are really cool. I think the rest of the song, there's like this blanket delay, and I think it's really boring. The blanket delay is really boring. Other than that, this is like a classic. The tonality of it is like classic, like old school mixer with live bands, like mixing on NS10s kind of like tonality, which is great. Like you're not gonna hear Jack Harlow and Kid Leroy and Justin Bieber have mixes with this bright tonality, but like with these bands, you're gonna hear stuff like this.
Each other. And I know you can't take all the blame.
Sounds great.
My love will remain.
If I do anything, this is more like if I do anything tonality wise.
Each other. And I know you can't take all the blame. My love will remain the same. I just gotta start over.
But I don't even think that's necessary, so.
Each other. And I know you can't take all the blame.
You just get a little bit more volume out of that, a little bit more balance.
Each other. And I know you can't take all the blame. My love will remain the same. I just gotta start over. Cause we've heard.
Yeah, that sounds great. Wait. Did you track her vocals while she was playing the drums, or did you do vocals afterwards? That's crazy. I assume the vocals were recorded afterwards. Especially if you have a 414 on buy a drum kit. Yeah, that's no, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, that makes sense. Yeah, that sounds great. Again, like if you want to make it a little bit more modern sounding, we'll bump up that mid range, and we can even do like a. Something like this too. Let's see what this does. I don't know if this is gonna sound any good. We're gonna find out.
Ang sagufuni uthando lwakangise nalo uthando lwakho lungumthwalo yothenga umuthi angisakufuni yothenga umuthi angisakufuni kudala ngikhuluma angisafuni nokubuza angeke ngisakhala mina nyakushiya bonke lobunzima angisakufuni uthando lwakangise nalo uthando lwakho lungumthwalo.
No, that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. So, yeah, it sounds great. I think it sounds great. Cool. Nice job. Nice job, Diamond District Studios. That sounds great. And I think that's kind of it for the live stream. As far as taking submissions, none of the other people that are here, so we're gonna end the stream. I gotta get going to my next thing anyway. Oh, so this is perfect timing. Let's if there's any questions as we kind of end out, let's talk about mixing and production and answer any questions that y'all have. How was what did you learn from today? What did you learn from watching the mixed feedback today? Club Deco, I do this every Friday morning, 10 to 12 Pacific Standard Time, PST, so California time. Yeah, we really like the good vibes here. Everybody's nice in the chat, which is really important. Yeah, what did y'all learn? What did y'all learn from the stream? What was some things that you may have picked up that you're gonna implement into your next mix? I wanna hear what y'all think. What are you gonna start doing in your next mix? Yeah, Mo, what was the name of the song again? Mo, what's the name of your song? It was let me pull it up. I can even do Discord here. Look, right? Let me pull it up. All right. I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nothing else, but it would have helped.
I don't think my reference is gonna help. I don't think this was the best.
Nothing else, but it would have helped knowing someone cared about me ducking shells in these streets. And my mama minivan. No, I wasn't no kingpin. I would just push it when I can. Wasn't pushing just be.
Yeah, I don't think that's like the best reference. It's more about like for this one. I remember, if I remember correctly, just like that mid range and top end. Figuring that stuff out, and then the low mids, lows for the beat. I don't know if I don't know if it'd help you to send mine. I think it would just be more confusing. I can send it to you if you'd like, regardless. But I don't think that you should stick to it like it's Bible or something. It's up to you. Learnings from today is keeping in mind the genre influences when mixing and not using boring blanket delays. I think a little bit of blanket delay is cool. I think it's if you're gonna automate anything, let's automate like the effects. I think is a great idea. And taming harsh high mids. Yeah, I think that's like a pretty common thing. It's a lot easier, like if you watch these all the time, not just for yourself but for others, you'll kind of see some common things that I talk about, and maybe your first instinct is, okay, DK's hyper paying attention to these specific things. I don't think it's that. I think it's more about, I think I don't want to say mistakes, but some of the things that are harder to learn that come slower with experience are pretty common. Mid-range is usually the last thing that everybody gets right. People tend to get that top end right, and then they get the low end right, and then the last thing that they start getting right is the mid-range, which is the hardest to get. Also help listening from my workstation through my HD 650s. There you go. Maybe simple, but learned about the relationship between compression and transients. Oh yeah, that was a big part of it today for some reason. I think that was important, and I think that that's very, very important. I'm gonna show y'all a mix that I did. It was my first test mix, a second mix on these new speakers, and I'm gonna play it just to kind of talk about transients here. I'm actually going to make a revision and do some changes with the effects, but you'll kind of get a feel about transients, because you'll notice how hard the kick and snare hits. And I played this briefly, just like a few seconds of this earlier in the stream, but I'm going to play a little bit more up until the first chorus. You can Kind of here, and I'm getting like -7 LUFS, so like I'm getting really loud, but keeping the punch here.
Because you wasted my time. It's been a minute since I thought about us, but now I'm losing my mind. This girl is holding me down. You're not the same as before. So when did I stop holding my ground? 'Cause now you're back for more. I think I saw my silhouette. Try to push the moon away. I think about a cigarette so you could be with me. It took a while to get used to all the feelings I had, but I couldn't say. Is this how it feels to fall in love? It's been a while, I'm confused from everything you said that you wouldn't change. Is this how it feels to fall in love? You're digging into my skin like a tattoo, and you're telling me now, baby, don't.
My ears, little punch massage. No, I don't think every song needs to be that punchy. I don't think every song needs to be that punchy, but that's a great example of like hitting like integrated -7 LUFS on the mix bus, in the chorus, and maintaining crazy punch on the kick and the snare. And yeah, I think there's some things that I still need to improve with that mix, like the mid-range information with the synths. I need to get a little bit better. I want to change the effects. I really like that, but I think it's a little bit loud. And then the pre-chorus, I just use a really short reverb. I want to change that up, probably for a slapback. LUFS is loudness units full scale. It's how engineers measure the average loudness of a song. So kind of talking about loudness wars, and when you're mixing and you're mastering and within the final stage with limiters, you're thinking about how loud the song is. Because unfortunately, humans perceive louder songs to just sound better, even if it's the same exact mix, nothing changed other than it's a little bit louder. People start to think it's more punchy, it feels better, sounds better. So getting loud is important, I think. And labels make a huge deal of it. In fact, I work with a couple labels where sometimes they are willing to sacrifice fidelity for volume. So like it'll slightly distort with how much they want me to push it. But they like that. They want that. So, and clipping, saturating, limiting is an art form. It's less technical. It's an art form. So yeah, LUFS. So -7. So on average, I would say for something like that, you'll see a lot of like -10 to -8. So we're like loud. And if you get into -7, -6, like and without sacrificing too much, we're getting into like really pro realm. And I'm not saying that loudness is not the goal. Like you're not trying to get it as loud as possible, but if you can get it loud and keep it punchy, then you've won. Like that's like the best. That's the best case scenario. Loudness is not the goal. Loudness is not the goal. Because most of the time to get loud, you need to overcompress. And most people, when they overcompress, it's just really unnatural and it sacrifices the fidelity. But there are a lot of engineers out there that can get that loudness without sacrificing fidelity. So, but yeah, I think that's about it. Any other questions or anything else that we learned today? I think that this is really fun. A big note that I want to make that I forgot about, because this is something that's constant that I just need to keep reminding myself. Someone said, Diamond District Studios, you said that you were like pretty nervous to share your stuff. Everybody else was pretty, like, there was a few people that mentioned that, and they continue to mention that. And I think that it's important to mention that everybody feels that way. Even some of the highest, world-renowned mixers that I hang out with, and engineers that I hang out, producers and artists, like, they may look confident, and they are confident because that comes with experience. Like, they know that they don't suck, but they don't realize how good they are. And I think that everybody feels that way, no matter how good or bad you are. Everybody feels insecure. So I think that it's incredibly important to reinforce what is good, for the sake of just letting people know that they're on the right path. And so Leslie did that with me when I hung out with my mentor, Leslie Brathwaite, who got 3 diamond plaques this year through Cardi. 2 or 3 diamond plaques this year. Three. He got 3 this year, and has 18 plus Grammys, and has worked with Michael Jackson, Lauryn Hill, Biggie, Cardi, Pharrell, Jack Harlow, Lil Uzi Vert, all these cats. He did the same thing for me. When he listened to my mixes, he didn't have any feedback, and he just spent the time and the emotional effort to tell me how much he appreciated it and how much he felt my effort. And it was just so positive and so filled with light and goodness that his words resonated in my soul and have impacted my career and changed the trajectory of my career forever. And I think that I allowed myself to get better because of that moment. Mo from the Foe says, and when you say loud, are you saying loudness and volume are 2 different things? Technically not, I guess. Yeah, it feels loud. That's the thing. Like, yeah, is it loud? Is the song loud? For example, if I play the same mix, even with a limiter, sometimes people get the mix only this loud. But I got it. Oh. Even with a limiter, sometimes people only get it this loud.
I know I said I'm over this.
And that's with a limiter, and people will get this loud and be really happy with it. I got it. That loud.
But now I'm losing my mind.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the general volume of the song. Can't wait to send you some of my garbage tracks so you can rip them apart. Nice. I don't know. What do you want me to say? I'm not here to tell you that they're garbage. Like, that's not my thing. I came a bit in the middle of this stream. What I witnessed controlling the harsh parts of the song for sure, like the mids and the highs, also making sure the low end hits on point. That's important. And when you say loud, are you saying loudness and volume are 2 different things, or am I overthinking? I'm not sure. That's semantics. I think that's just like, I think it's just like it could be the same word or it could be different things based on the scenario. Yeah, but yeah, volume, loudness, RMS, peak, loofs. Yeah, this is all getting it loud and punchy. All right, y'all. On that note, happy mixing, my friends. If you ever need me, you can hit me up on the gram. If you want more information about how to mix, you can go to the podcast. If you want more things, like hitting me up. If you want me to mix your song and you think that I do a good job mixing your song, you want to get a quote, I can get you a quote from my website. You can go to links.dkmixes.com, as I wrote down. The podcast is free. I have a bunch of free PDFs on my website as well through the links. I have a lot of cool resources for mixers. I have some I write children's books, so if you're a dad and you want a digital book that I wrote, I have 2 digital copies available for free on my wife and I. My wife is an illustrator, and I write the books, so we do children's books. It's fun. So, yeah, all the jazz. I have some online courses. Boom. Yes. So on that note, happy mixing, my friends, and stay saucy. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.